Hello, welcome to the Grat Crag podcast. Today I'm joined by Jacob and Alex, and we're going to be talking
Right.
about some rewatchable films.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Hello.
So the
If
films
you
we're going to
haven't
be
seen,
covering
oh,
today
sorry.
are Rise of the Guardians, The Now You See Me duology, and Fantastic Mr. Fox. So if
If
you've
you
not
haven't
seen them,
seen the films, or if you haven't seen part one already, which
you're lacking.
me and Grace have already done, what the fuck are you doing? Get on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Get
Um,
on it.
and massive spoiler warning because we will be discussing these in detail.
Hmm.
So, spoiler warning. I feel like we need a creative way to do a spoiler warning. How do you guys feel about a three-part harmony?
Spoiler
Alex is
warning.
going to get something.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. Spoiler
Warning.
warning.
Look,
Okay.
That was
we'll
rubbish,
record
guys.
something better.
Right,
We
okay.
will record something better for next time.
No, wait, we're gonna do this. Right. Okay, three, two, one. Spoiler warning.
Warning.
There you
Guys,
go,
that's
my
awful.
That's a spoiler one and done. There you go.
Okay,
Spoiler one.
so we're gonna begin with Rise of the Guardians.
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
what is it about this film that makes it so rewatchable, guys?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm the one who suggested this into the group, so I'm glad you guys actually watched it.
I'd watch
Reason
this
why I
film.
yeah, the reason
Yeah.
why I find it so rewatchable is like the idea of all these different holidays. It's basically a multi-season film. So you got your Easter Bunny, you got your Father Christmas, you got your Jack Frost, you got your Sandman, which is all year round. And then you got your little Pitch, and even the villain, Pitch Black, all year round, Tooth Fairy all year round. So it's like very much like a childhood nostalgic feel to this film.
And Pitch Black, Jude Law's Pitch Black was, I don't know who casted that, but oh my God, mwah, chef's kiss. One of my favorite castings ever. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
so good. His voice just works so well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. I feel like it's just such a nice film as well. It's got really nice like positive messaging, which kind of makes it a good family film. And as well, it kind of works for all age groups, I feel like, because well, I don't know when I first watched it, but I was like really little and then I rewatched it again and I felt like I still felt the emotions going through the film, even though I'm like way older.
Yeah. I watched it when I was like 7. I'm rewatching this film for this podcast. It just brought me way back.
Yeah, exactly. It is quite nostalgic to watch.
I
Yeah.
think for me that is also a big part of rewatchable films. Is if they have that nostalgic like sense. I think I'm definitely going to talk about it with a lot of other films that we've done.
100%.
Yeah.
And that sense of nostalgia is just so important to have in a film, and it makes you want to go back and watch it more.
Hmm.
Exactly, because that's like the whole thing about nostalgia. It's like the reliving it
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Yeah.
And all having all those childhood story characters that the way they're so iconic and you just see them in like an advert for it or whatever. You see it and you think, oh, I know them. I know the Tooth Fairy. I know the even if you've grown up and like, oh yeah, well they're not real. Sorry, spoilers. Even even
Wait,
if they're not.
what? Father Christmas isn't real?
Wait, I thought they were real as well. Hold up.
I'm sorry.
What?
But no, if yeah, as you grow up and kind of I've just kicked my table. As you grow up and kind of realize they're not real. You get that feeling like, oh, remember when we thought they were, and remember this happening, and oh, this memory of the Tooth Fairy, the Father Christmas, etc., etc. It that sense of nostalgia just makes you want to go back and relive those moments. And I think Rise of the Guardians just is hands on a silver platter to you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like the color palette of the film as well, like the whole like cinematography and the use of colors and just the visuals overall, they're like it's so lovely and I think it does feed into the nostalgia theme with this kind of, it isn't like bright colors, which is quite often how you have like Christmas films and kids films. It's kind of like got that slightly muted nostalgic feel with the colors, I think, because it isn't
Yes.
like, really in your face with the color and it does have, and I think that does create nostalgia in its own way. And like it's just so like beautiful to watch.
I think
Especially like,
this is
oh, you
sorry. This isn't like I wouldn't call it a kids film. I would call it like a 10 to 12, like PG-13 film because it deals with really dark stuff.
Yeah.
Like it deals with dark stuff like growing up and like maturing and realizing that all your childhood is pretty much a lie. Like it's dark, like 100%.
I feel like you have a very different view watching it as when you're older as well.
Oh
Because
yeah.
like as a kid, I don't really remember feeling that kind of emotional stuff about and like the messages around growing up. Whereas watching it now, I really, really feel that. And that is one of the things I think that does make it really good to rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my favorite bits of the film are the silly little elves. They're so silly. I love them. They just kind of like waddle around and like run around and stuff, and they're just quite cute. I like the little elves. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Is that all we have to say on Rise of the Guardians?
Uh,
Or do we want to say more?
I have a point of that. Also,
Yeah.
this is more a personal reason as to why I
Yeah.
watch it. Is that I don't know when I got it, but I got it as a CD, and I think
mhm.
having a film like that where it's just a one off film, it's already got this such nostalgic childhood feel to it. Having it on a CD just meant that I would take on holiday. I'd take a CD player, take on holiday, buying it in a caravan or something, and just sit and watch it. And I've probably watched it countless times because of the fact that it's on a CD. And
God,
I
I
know
miss
I know
CDs.
most films are, but it's just having that availability as well. Just it's like a little sprinkle on top and cherry on the
Yeah.
cake.
I think that is pretty specific though for our generation, especially because like
Yeah,
when we were kids, everybody had CDs. And
yeah.
now
Yeah.
nobody has CDs. And it's so weird, like saying to people now, like, oh yeah, I actually have that on CD. Like I have all the Harry Potter
Hmm.
films on CDs. And if I rewatch them, then I watch them on CDs. And there is a special element of nostalgia. And there is a really nice feel about having a film on CD. And it's so nostalgic, I think, for people in our age group.
Like I remember burning like really old like Scooby Doo films onto CDs. And my dad used to burn Scooby Doo films onto DVDs for me. And like
That's so nice.
he used to write Jacob's films on the thing, and I was like, oh my god, I have my own CD. And then
That's so cute.
it's like how for our parents, it's probably like VHS. They would have their own VHS with all their stuff
Oh
onto it.
yeah. No, yeah, I
Like,
get
is that
that.
that's nowadays everything is digital. You have Netflix. You don't
Yeah,
know the
No.
struggles of a DVD
It's
and
not the
having to blow
same
on a
feel
disc.
of actually owning like the actual CDD, like you own the film, like your copy of
yeah.
it. There's something so special that I miss about that. Like kids these days are never gonna know the pain of having to like rub the DVDs on their clothing to get off
Make sure
like
you got
your
the right
dad's
size as
fingerprint because he touched it last time he
Wait,
put it in the
guys,
box.
are we old?
I think we are.
we are.
Oh
Boy,
god,
yeah,
We're not old, but like we're old.
I'm getting there.
we're growing up. That's what it is. We're growing
I
up.
know. It's really, especially with our drama group as well, being like the oldest ones there
I'm
now,
the old
or like having
in our
left.
drama group, and that's
I've
something
left.
to do
I've
with.
left. I've got that old. I had to
You've
leave.
outgrown. Oh, it's insane.
I've got a year left. Like I've got
No, we do. We have 1 year left, and then we're off
That
into
is
the world.
scary.
as of
I
tomorrow, I
mean,
will have 1 year left. That's
Oh my
mental.
God,
and
yeah.
then you
Happy
guys
birthday
can
to
just join
Alex.
me.
Quite a little
No,
shout out.
no. Okay, let's go back to
Okay, moving on to the next film.
Okay, now
yeah.
we're on to the Now You See Me duology. And Alex, I believe this is your specialty.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I I don't know why I haven't just bought it on Amazon Prime yet. There is something about the way the whole film's shot is that I can't I've blanked on the director's name, but the way they use like I'm gonna go really BZ media nerd here, but the way they use establishing shots so frequently to just demonstrate that the whole thing is essentially magic. Like there's the I think in the second one or no, in both of them, whenever they go to do like a big performance, they always do an establishing shot of the whole thing to show there's no rig, there's no setup, nothing like that. And yet it still just seems so magical, and it's something about after watching it 10, 15, 20 times, you still won't know how they do it.
Exactly.
Obviously, there's an essence of CGI, but you get so enveloped in the film.
Yeah, I think the cinematography has a real feel of like disillusion to it. And I think that's kind of feeding into what you say. They use a lot of canted angles and like rotating shots. They break a lot of match on action, which is more of an editing thing. And there's lots of handheld as well. And it's just kind of like it messes with the continuity and it makes you go, oh, wait, what's going on? And it really, really imitates the feel of watching a magic trick because you're constantly looking around like how are they doing this, and you're like your head is rotating like the camera does, you're like trying to go in at weird angles, be like how are they doing that. It really really imitates that, and the feel of it is what you're saying. It's so good, it's done so well.
And
Yeah,
especially like the sequences, especially Now You See Me Too, the card sequence in the airport.
yes,
That
that is the bit that
that
really
shot
stood out to me.
from the card's perspective as well. That is one of the most like cinematographically most like I don't know how to say it. The most cinematography like high end like
It,
films
they
like
do it smoothly
sequences.
as well. They follow it like bits where they follow it through the back and like
Yeah,
through
Yeah,
the eye.
it's
They do
so
it so
it's
smooth.
so like you just don't forget
Seems,
that scene. It's so good,
yeah,
it stays in your brain.
it's
Yeah,
one of those. It's why it's been so like. I think I think the first time I ever got into it was because I saw that scene on TikTok and I thought, what's that from?
yeah.
yeah, it's
Ever
insane.
since, and it is just how they managed to follow it the whole way through. And as you said, you are from the card's perspective in that, and it's you get so enveloped whilst also still being encouraged to think about how on earth they're doing it. It's really conflicting. It's
Yeah,
And
I think
just
especially when
perspective
like
is important in this film as well because it's kind of like you're like the spectators don't actually know that much. You're with the horsemen, but you're working with the detectives because you don't know what's going on. Like you're following the horsemen, but they don't tell you what's going on. You find out with the people watching, and there's something about that where you can almost like relate to the audiences and you can relate to detectives like, whoa, what is going on? And there's the way that they do that through showing different perspectives is makes the film so exciting and engaging to watch, I
and also
think.
the big reveals at the end of the thing. There's two films where they have big reveals. Especially I think it's in Now You See Me Two with the plane. Is that Now You
yes.
See Me One?
Yeah, the
But
plane was insane. I think
it's
even
what
rewatching that, I was like, wait, how did they do it?
Yeah,
because
it's
like
4 times, 5 times, still don't know. Still don't get it.
it's like
Exactly.
you can watch it, and like you can say that kind of makes sense, but also how did they get away with that without them actually knowing what's going on?
I know, exactly. It's insane. So would you like a little link that I found between Rise of the Guardians and Now You See Me?
Please go ahead.
So
I
the
think I
actress
might.
Isla Fisher plays the Tooth Fairy in Rise of the Guardians and Henley in
Yeah.
Now You See Me.
Oh,
Oh,
sick.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I was going through IMDb because I was like, I really just recognize people. What else have they been in? And I was suddenly like, hold on, that's a funny little link that we didn't realize in putting this together. Yeah, I found that so silly. I love finding little things like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. The thing is with Now You See Me though, the characters are so well put together. I feel like the group dynamics are really good. I would say especially in the second one, but the characters are just cool, you know?
Mhm.
Like there's just, there just isn't a way around it. The characters are just cool and they're like, you know, they are just cool. They're hard to
Like
explain, but they're all cool in their own way. Yeah.
they're like the only magicians that are popular.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I
is
mean?
kind
Like
of true.
they're like the popular kids at school, but they also do magic.
they're like the
Yeah,
only
it's cool.
in this world. They're like the only world famous magicians. Like even in real life, who can you think of like that? Was
Penn and Teller,
Dynamo, I guess.
Panther.
Dynamo,
Houdini
Houdini.
Penn and
Yeah,
Teller.
but it's not.
Yeah, I probably
Without proving our point here.
I wouldn't say that any of them are on the level that Now You See Me puts them on, and something about that just being so unique is so incredible.
especially with
Yeah.
the teleportation one. You know, the one where they try and transport themselves into like the French bank.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
insane to
Yeah.
watch. You're there like, what is going on? I feel like they do that with lots of the magic tricks. The way that they film them, it's pretty quick paced in both films the whole way through, but especially in those sequences. And it just
Mhm.
has the feel of excitement. You're like, whoa, what is going on? It's so good
100%.
to watch.
I
It's
think I think yeah. One thing also there is that it's across both films. It's a consistent thing
yeah.
of the. It's not like one film. I think we were having a discussion on the group chat, Grace, about how the recent Inside Out film is a bit hit and miss.
What?
Both of them are a bit
Don't
hit and miss.
spoil anything. I want to watch this.
It's
I have not seen
amazing.
this is from Grace and some other people.
I will defend Inside Out 2 with my life, no matter what people on that group chat say.
You can tell. Anyway, but this is so consistent. It's consistently the first one is incredible. The second one, if anything, it's better, and it's something
Yeah.
about just so satisfying to just have that level of consistency. They merge into one.
Yeah, I think I would say I also prefer the second one. The thing that lets that second one down is whoever did the hair, who gave Jesse Eisenberg a buzz cut. Because he has a buzz cut, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
whoever did
Does
the hair for that film, I'm sorry, but you're letting down the film.
it is a bit of a horror choice as well. With I get also with what's it the twins, Woody Harrelson's character
Yeah.
and well,
Oh,
both
yeah.
of them. I get why they've done it like that. It's just the ginger hair, like in that way, is such an eyesore.
Yeah, the
It is
hair in
like
Now You See Me Too isn't great. It's better in Now
Yeah.
You See Me One.
the only criticism is the hair and makeup.
The only
Yeah.
criticism of Now You See Me Too is the hair. And
It
I feel
just
like that
shows,
does say something.
just shows why it's rewatchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we just can't look at the characters' faces, or else we just get
You have to stare in the little corners of the screen.
Yeah. I think the thing about the second one that
That's-
makes it really good is Daniel Radcliffe as the villain.
Oh,
It's a
yeah,
really
yeah.
freaky introduction to him, and I love it. It's so like, whoa. And then the reveal later, all of the reveals are insanely well done.
Especially Michael Caine.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Michael Caine's always amazing, but he is amazing here. I know the plot twist at the end of the first one, it's kind of revealed for a cross-cutting sequence, which is always good for plot twists and stuff. And it just everything is just done so well with the plot twist, with the engagement. It's just done so well, and every time you rewatch it, you do have the same feel to it, which is really hard to achieve.
Yeah, I blanked, but yeah, I completely agree. Say something. Yeah, I completely agree. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Something about that having that just aspect of having those big names just gives. I know Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson are big names anyway.
Yeah,
But
and Daniel Radcliffe as well.
having
Everyone.
Daniel Radcliffe and Michael Caine as the bad guys as well just gives it that little boost.
Also, he's not just Daniel Radcliffe anymore. He's Daniel Radcliffe, the Tony winner for Best Supporting Actor in a Musical. Just saying.
Yeah,
Amazing.
exactly.
Just saying.
He's amazing. We love him. Yeah.
Don't be dust.
You're a Tony winner, Harry.
Yeah. Right. Is it Fantastic Mr. Fox time then? Or
Yes.
Jacob, you're looking very, very excited about Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay,
Shall I
let me
let
tell
you
you why.
begin?
This is the most rewatchable film of all time, and I'll say it over again. And I even know I've said previously in the last podcast that Cornetto trilogy was. This is it. All right, I don't care. This solo film beats everything else because first of all, Wes Anderson's best film. I'm gonna say out there, and I don't care what those dates are.
I'm gonna disagree,
That is for
but
me.
valid point. Okay.
Yeah, that's for me. His best film. All right. Let me tell you why. You take the original source material, Roald Dahl, aka the childhood book that most of us grew up on, right? Then you transform it into a kind of like Ocean's 11 style heist film with these actually scary people. Like you actually got scary villains in a children's book. Plus also the symmetry and plus the lighting and like the stop motion. First of all, whoever did stop motion on that film, like, should deserve high praise. Like 100%. Whoever did that is like, and the story how it builds up and up and up and up to the very final bit of the scene, like the most emotional bit. Like, I'm supposed to be called this fantastic Mr. Fox, but what's so fantastic about me? That is like the most deepest line I've heard.
I think one of my favorite bits in this film is actually like in the first scene that there's a bit that really feels so Wes Anderson to me. It's when I was watching it and the first time I was like, this you can see it's him. It was like the static shots on each of them, Fantastic Mr. Fox and his wife when and she tells him that she's pregnant in the first scene, and they have like static shots of them both centrally framed, and it's like the cutting between them and the way that the like blank reaction shots with the static is so Wes Anderson, and I was like, you can see him there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to say great music, great score throughout the whole film. I love the score. It's so well written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stray away from it, and I promise there's a link to it.
Okay.
But when I said earlier about how one of the biggest things about making a film rewatchable is nostalgia. I watched this film the first time on Saturday morning. As soon as I finished watching it, I packed my bags and left the door to go to PQA. I will not lie, but it was my first time watching it, and I felt a sense of nostalgia. And I think a big part of that, and the link up here was the music. Like there was a sense of stop motion of like it felt quite like an not antique, but like it felt like it was a 2000. It wasn't 2009 or
2009.
Yeah, 2009.
It felt like a 2009 film.
Yeah, it does.
And it felt like I was in 2007, but it felt like 2009.
I'm 2005.
Was that the music? Music most definitely just gave you that little push into 2009.
As someone who also watched it on Saturday morning before leaving the house, but to go to Essex instead, it was it was, you still have the sense of nostalgia even though I didn't watch it as a kid. Jacob, I can see that you're in pain knowing that we didn't watch this as kids.
I'm old.
This film was like prime time. This was prime, like just coming back up on YouTube recommendations by the time you were growing up.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean as well, when one of those videos comes up after like 5 years and it suddenly goes from having no views in 4 years to like 10 million in a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Especially with this film, because there is a TikTok sound in this film. And when I saw it, I was like, with I think I'm an athlete. That bit.
Yeah, and also the sound of the Wes Anderson, like the like the whole Wes Anderson trend where everything was symmetrical.
Oh yeah.
I'm fairly confident it was either taken from this film or it was a mix-up between Grand Budapest Hotel and this film. I'm not quite sure.
All of his films are pretty symmetrical and like static, aren't they? So
no, I'm talking about the song.
Oh, just okay.
Visually, there's something about it that's just visually appealing when he does those symmetrical shots that you just kind of want. You get invested in the characters whenever he does that. It's something about
it's just lovely to look at.
Moment. It's always he always has just a moment. I think that's what creates those TikTok audios as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was just one. There's countless. I was watching the film, just like, recognize that bit.
I just had one bit with the athlete bit quite early on in the film. He's like, I think I'm an athlete. What do you think? Or whatever.
A side note is we should make for another podcast episode. We should do hybrid directors and what films that hybrid director would make. So like you draw two directors out of a hat. Let's say you pull Wes Anderson and Edgar Wright, and you put them together to make a film. What film would they make? Sorry, that's a side note, but I just thought
that is cool. We'll have to remember that. Maybe that's a little teaser for what's coming on the later. Who knows, guys?
Directors.
One of my favorite bits of this film is the montages. especially because there is one where it keeps getting interrupted by, I want to say, the mole. And he's
Yeah.
like, wait, how does that work? And I find it really funny because it is kind of breaking what you think happens
Yes.
in film. It's not just breaking Mr. Fox's like brain thought train. It's also breaking like the cliches of cinema. And I just find it really funny because I was like, oh, they don't normally do that. I just like
Blueberries?
that.
Why blueberries? Beagles love blueberries.
Yeah, why not? Just because, like, just I think also like it does pick up on the fact that sometimes in books and films there's a sort of like lore to them that isn't ever really explained. And it's sort of like, well, it just sort of is what it is. I find, especially I guess in like horror films and ghost stories and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, you use the Ouija board at night just because that's just what they are like. But
That's
then
just normal.
yeah, but then like, why do you? And I found like that was the kind of thing that he was picking out on. He was like, why is it blueberries though? And it's like, I don't know, because chickens or whatever, or like rats. It's just so random. I just
The beagles.
Eagles,
Yeah,
that's it.
beagles.
Beagles,
Yeah.
And
beagles.
yeah, if you're going to use a Ouija board, side note, make sure you're not shooting a film just in case a spirit breaks your collarbone. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, or corrupts your business notes or starts playing music on your phone.
Yeah, as you can see right here.
It didn't corrupt my
Oh.
business notes. My business notes were fine. I
Oh, were
did
they
the
okay
exact.
in the end?
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
it happened.
I'm
It's
telling
happened. It happened after as well. Like the notes went funny as well. Anyway, yeah,
Oh.
that's all
Yeah,
good.
context, we tried to make another film and it didn't go very well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Fantastic Mr. Fox. It was um one of the other things is, the kind of, I think they kind of merged the line between animals and humans, which was quite interesting to see.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about that aspect of like with Toy Story, how our toys could be alive. You look at since that film, I've looked at my cat and gone, just you could. Sorry, she is just over there. Like she could have a job in like an animal world where she interacts with other cats, and that's why she does it. Like,
Well,
Yeah, I
look at
do
your
wonder
cat.
about that, especially as another cat owner. Like, where does my cat go?
Yeah,
When she wants it?
What job would your cat do?
fucking food taster, mate. Fat fuck.
I think my cat's a pretty good hunter, though, to be honest. I think because she's just always hunting mice. Like I remember one
Like a
time I was
butcher.
gardening with my mum, we just look over, there's a dead mouse. We're like, oh, lovely, thanks, cat. It's a bit,
So your cat would be a butcher, and your one would be Gordon Ramsay.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of the thing.
Yeah. Less Gordon Ramsay, more Nick
Gordon
Ricardo.
Patsy.
Right.
Two very different sides there, but sure.
Yeah.
So another funny thing I found about this film was campfire scene. They were singing
Yeah.
like a song and it was just really silly and it was quite nostalgic, taking back to like campfire, forest school and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, don't remind me of camp. Oh.
Yeah. So can I just say absolutely iconic line of "Am I being flirted with by with blah, blah, blah." Let's me restart because Meryl Streep does it better than me. Am I being flirted with by a psychotic rat? I love that line.
Yes.
It's
Because
gorgeous.
most of us have been blessed by a psychotic rat once before.
Yourself.
We've all had our
Speak for
moments with
yourself.
psychotic rats, guys. Let's be real.
Yeah,
probably
all
more-
three of us had psychotic rats in our
Yeah.
life.
I also find there's a kind of allegorical aspect to this film. I don't know if I'm getting too deep into it, but I felt like, they've kind of got like Fox refugee.
What the hell's an allegorical?
Sorry?
What's an allegorical?
So like an allegory, like it's, a story that kind of mirrors a story in real life. Because you've got like the Fox refugee camps, and I was kind of feeling a little bit like, this is a bit kind of making you think about what's actually going on in the world a little bit. But I don't know if that's just because I'm old now, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it it was kind of a little bit sort of like especially because the it's adapted from a kid's book, and I was kind of wondering if that was meant to be a kind of you know, kids don't probably get refugees and stuff,
Yeah.
whereas and then in this book they kind of explain it pretty well, I think. And I think that's quite powerful and quite nice.
The one thing that the film changes from the original, Christopherson was never in the original book,
Oh,
and
really?
he was never a character. The whole apple crumble thing was never a thing. The whole kidnapping of the son and having to go to the factory, never a
Oh,
thing. That was all made for the film, and the whole being scared of wolves made for the film. It was never established in the book. What the film really happened was he did dig underneath and stole the chickens from underneath, but there was never the war scene. But basically, they just tried to excavate the tree and basically blew, and they just waited around the hole for the entire time. They didn't
right.
have the war. The rat was never in it. Like there was
Oh,
a lot of
what
stuff
in
that
the
was
book?
different from the. Yeah, in the book, it's like completely bare boned. All this extra
Oh,
stuff that's added on was just directly referenced into the film,
not to be
which
rude to Roald Dahl, but the Wes Anderson version sounds better.
it was. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like as a
I
person
mean,
who read
Roald
the
Dahl
book
was
and plus
not a
us,
nice guy, so we can say that.
really,
And he's dead. No, he was like sexist and anti-Semitic and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say that a few minutes ago, but it kind of moved
What?
past it, about how a lot of his all his books, like before he went into kids' books, he did very dark books. My mum was reading one of his books a few years ago, and she like finished it almost in tears. Like it's
Oh,
genuinely like he's a really dark writer, and he carried that over into his kids' film. So even though like the film as you said, it does stray like from the original source. It does also keep it quite in touch of Roald Dahl of having such dark stuff in children's stories,
yeah, I
which
think
I think makes it
especially
so
him as
much
a
better.
person is awful. Because I know there were a lot of suggestions. I know because there were some articles because there's the censorship around his books, which is a fair relatively current thing. It was like a year or so ago, and I remember reading an article about it in an English lesson for because we were analyzing it for some reason, and it was like, oh yeah, Roald Dahl was actually really sexist and said loads of anti-Semitic things and stuff, and I was like, huh. And there was a few kind of, and I guess like kind of looking at his work, if you look at it from the right way, you can kind of see it, but it's also a bit of a stretch.
it was like most of his books could be related to a lot of different like traumatic experiences. Like James of the Giant Peach deals with abusive parents, dead parents, and the whole like um scam of the foster system. And then you got this Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is animal cruelty,
Yeah, and
um
also the whole refugees, I think. So there
refugee
is like a
camp.
refugee fox camp in the film.
Yeah.
So
Um, the whole, and then there's like a whole bunch of other ones you want to go like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's just pure like child labor. If you want to talk about that,
yeah, it's you
that's
can look
child
at it
labor.
in many different
Matilda,
ways.
Matilda's literally just child abuse. Just
Yeah,
Yeah,
her,
it is. Especially now that we're in a show, Matilda. I keep every week we're at rehearsals. I'm like, how is this a kid's book? How is this a kid's?
also, the Pelican, the Giraffe, and the Monkey. I don't know if you ever read that one, where
Oh
they
yeah.
open up. Basically, that just shows about the like it's basically an anti-capitalist book, showing that these
Oh,
young
amazing.
people, yeah, is they're trying to basically these three like mammals are trying to try and start a business and we're trying to clean and we're trying to make money, but there's like the really rich people that's like, no, we don't like that. You have to clean
Definitely give a
ours
different
for
look.
way worse money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it
insane that
like
how you
all
can
this.
look at these things now. And
Yeah.
I think
yeah, I think that kind of brings the podcast to a close before.
one more point. I think.
Okay.
Oh, oh yeah, I'll go quick. As usual. So he, as as you get further, the more times I think you watch the film, even just like I've watched it once, and I think I missed out a lot of these points that you've pointed out, and I know I'm going to watch it again. And I'm going to think, I'm going to see these little things. And I think part of that about these kind of films is that you notice things every time you watch them. You notice them the first time, but you don't really think about them. And then you think about them, and then you think, oh, I need to watch it again. And you go back and watch them, which is just what makes them rewatchable.
I agree, yeah.
All the other films we've talked about today.
Yeah.
And also, if you want a more in-depth of reasons of why they're good and what other things we miss, the source I usually get all of this information from is from a YouTube channel called Cinema Wins or Cinema Faults. If you guys know what they are, there's like a really good YouTube channel where it basically puts all the good and bad stuff of the film, and it's like all the stuff you don't know, which is really good. And shameless plug. Please tag me, please. Please tag us. Please get us your subscribers, please.
Okay, right, let's go. Quick fire. What is your most rewatchable film, Jacob?
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Alex?
It's got to be the Now You See Me, the first one. I'm going to say the first one for me.
I'm going to say Hot Fuzz from the last episode, the part 1. Yeah. Okay. And those are our most rewatchable films. We really hope that you have enjoyed listening to us yap about them. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe. And if you haven't already listened to part 1, then go and do it now, or at the next point you can. If you have enjoyed this, then you might also enjoy the short films we make and our film and TV recommendations. So follow, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you can on the whatever streaming platform you're on, whether that's Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, anything else. Please support us, and thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.